In today's video we were looking at this budget gaming PC which I built for only £360. So this is a really fantastic budget gaming PC that I put together, which I think is a pretty good sort of list of parts, and you might be able to follow it as well. Now obviously the prices will be different that you'll get, but I think overall you could get a similar PC for around the £350 to maybe £400 mark. Obviously depending on your budget and your availability and what parts you can get within your local area. So on my phone here I've got the specs and the details of everything that I brought, so let's go through it now. So the first component we'll look at is the motherboard. We got a really good bargain here with the MSI B450 Tomahawk Max for only £40, which, yeah, I mean, that is a bargain, that really is. Next was our Ryzen 5 4500. Now actually looking at Amazon, you can actually get this for around £63 actually, but we did pay £70 for it, which is a fair price I think for this processor. 6 cores and 12 threads for only £70 or even less now. That's a bargain in my book anyway. The Vetroo V5 CPU Cooler we got for only £20. Now we did put a different fan on because the fan that we had was ARGB and that isn't compatible with our motherboard, so we just put like a Corsair default fan on. But it's worked okay, and that was only £20. So you know, you could make that saving by just using the stock cooler, but I think it does look nicer with a tower cooler personally, and it does make the gaming PC look a little bit more premium as well, so I think it's worth it. Next was our 16GB kit of a 2x8GB kit for only £35, which is the Corsair Vengeance LPX. So that's pretty decent, although there has been decent deals on DDR4 recently. I think there was like the Clev one, which was about £28, but I'd say £35 or less if you can get 16GB of DDR4 in obviously dual channel memory now. That's fine, and that's a good price in my book. Next, obviously, is that little graphics card there. Now it is tiny, I admit, but we only got it for a tiny price as well, at £80. The GTX 1650 Super is still actually a very capable graphics card in 2023. Now we have done a video and I will mark that into the top right hand corner if you do want to actually go and see that video, where we saw that this 1650 Super was actually capable of doing 60 FPS at high settings in most games that we tested, even like Cyberpunk, which actually was really good. And for a 4GB VRAM card, it's still really impressive what it can do, and I think if you can get it under £100, it's still well worth doing. Obviously if you're going over the £100 marks, you do want to look at the GTX 1070. Yes, you do want to look at the 1070, maybe in the 1080, possibly, maybe even like a 1660 Super, 1660 even. But I think for £80 we've done really well with that little graphics card, and it doesn't look that great within the case. I admit I would have liked a little bit of a longer graphics card, certainly a 2-slot one, but beggars can't be choosers when you're actually in that sort of very low price bracket. So we've had to go with it. Next we have our 512GB NVMe drive. So we've actually got NVMe storage here, NVMe SSD, which is really good. 512 isn't much, but we only paid £25 for that, which is quite a good bargain. It's by Lexar, so decent brand, not like a total no-name brand. I think they are. I have heard of them before, and it's just in that slot there. You might not be able to quite see it, but it is there. It's actually black as well, so it's kind of mixing in with the actual aesthetic that we've got, like that sort of grey black. Obviously with the fans and with the case. The PSU is actually first, and then we'll go on to the case. The Corsair VS450, which is a 450 watt PSU, we only got for £20, which is an absolute bargain, especially considering PSU prices at the moment. That's a really good bargain. Now it's only 450 watt, but our 1650 Super is going to take like, what, 100 watts at most, maybe 150 at most. Our CPU is going to take 100 at most, if that. I mean, 450 is going to be more than enough for the system, so I'm happy with that. And at £20, I'm really happy with that price. Now, obviously the showpiece is the NZXT H510 Flow case. Now this is a beautiful, beautiful case. I'll just bring it to the front there. It has the flow here, it has the airflow at the front, which is really nice. I'll put, obviously, B-roll here, so you can see all the fans, which I've got here. I put separate fans in this case. So this case actually cost me £50, but the optional extra 5 RGB fan kit which I got was another £20 on top. So that brings it to £70, but obviously I would advise if you were buying a case with the pre-applied RGB fans, you may be able to get that to £50 to £60. Like the MSI 100R I saw, which is actually a really good, really good case. I've done a review on the 100M, but the 100R is even better because it's got the RGB fans, which is obviously an improvement from the RGB fans. Basically, we didn't have ARGB integrated into the motherboard, so we've had to use the onboard controller. There's actually like a little tiny little controller box at the back of this, which obviously you can't see, and I'm not going to show you because the cable management isn't the best, I admit, at the back, but I've tried to do my best and tried to sort of stuff it all in there, and it's okay. I might try and sort it out before I sell this PC on, obviously, but it's okay, and I'm happy with it, and the back panel goes on fine, so it's alright. So like I said, altogether it's about 360, give or take a little bit. There was actually a Wi-Fi card I put in as well, which is an optional extra £10, but you don't have to put that in, but I think because I'm selling this PC on, obviously putting a Wi-Fi card in is just going to add to the value. Overall, I'm going to go for £450 to sell this on my local Facebook marketplace. If it doesn't go for that, I'll drop it down to 400. I just want to get rid of it basically and just move it on to someone who wants it. You know, it's done okay. It's made a video for this channel. I've made a video from the video card, which you obviously can see as well. So it's done what it's needed to. Obviously I put the glass on the front of it as well when I actually go to sell it, obviously. Overall, I'm actually pretty happy with this little build, and I want to know down in the comments, do you think it's a decent build? Because I mean, I certainly think it's quite a decent build personally, and you know, I'm pretty happy with it actually. It's turned out actually quite aesthetically nice, and I maybe move that more that way. I think with the black and the grey, and it's kind of all sort of fitted quite well together, and it doesn't actually look budget. I wouldn't say it really looks budget. I would say this case certainly looks very premium, and I think that's really the big thing when I'm trying to sell a budget case. I'm always looking for that sort of more premium sort of looking case, because if you sell the computer, the computer obviously, if you're selling a computer with a premium looking case, then you're really going to attract more of an audience, and that's going to help the sale. Whereas if you go with an older PC, which has maybe got older parts, and you've got an older case, people just think it's an old PC. So having, although these are all used parts, it's actually, well, apart from the fans and apart from the CPU cooler and that, but the motherboard, well, the CPU was new actually, but motherboard, RAM, graphics card, the SSD was new. Power supply was obviously used as well, and the case was used a little bit, but I haven't really used it much. It's more or less brand new. But yeah, I think overall I've done pretty well here, and let me know what you think below. Could you sort of beat that price? Personally, I don't think many people will, and if you can, link the video below, or you know, or give us a shout out if you've done a certain build which you actually got even cheaper than that, which has got even better specs, and let me know below. So I hope you like this little video, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.